In today's Legal on 4, we continue our conversation on what you need to know about your personal injury lawsuit. Now, last time we talked about the importance of choosing the right attorney to represent you. It's also important to understand what's involved in the lawsuit process to help you decide whether or not to proceed. It is not as simple as claiming that you got hurt and getting a check. Our legal contributor Craig Wisdom is here with part 2 to explain the process.
Yes.
Not that easy, huh?
No, I mean, like everything, there are exceptions, but even if you think about a case that might be resolved through settlement and not actually have to go through a trial, it's still almost always going to be a very lengthy process because both sides normally aren't willing to sit down and make a decision until they know all the information, and it takes a long time to get there. Okay. And so no matter what, it's probably going to be very time-consuming, lengthy, complicated, and there's a lot of emotions involved. People don't sometimes recognize the psychic cost of litigation. So this is not a reason not to do it, but if you go into this process knowing this is going to be a long-term thing, you're going to do a lot better than if you expect that you're going to be getting a check in a few weeks.
Yeah, and the other thing to really understand are the attorney's fees.
Absolutely, and your attorney should be very upfront with you. They have to give you their fee agreement in writing. The big thing to keep in mind is there are fees, which is the percentage that you pay the attorney, which is their compensation. And that's, you know, the we don't get paid unless we win your case type thing, because they take a percentage of the settlement. But then there are costs, which aren't paying the attorneys, but paying a lot of the other expenses that are necessary to the litigation. And those you end up having to pay whether you win the case or not. And this is also something that normally when the attorney takes their percentage off the top, then you've got your share left, then you have to pay your costs back. And this can be frequently tens of thousands of dollars because it's not just photocopies, it's things like hiring doctors and experts.
Bringing them in,
exactly.
Them in.
And so there's a lot of those costs involved. So again, you want to make sure with your attorney you understand exactly what's going to happen and understand that if there's $1 million settlement, you may only be walking away with half of that by the time you get done.
That. And your attorney's fees, they vary too, because I noticed some attorneys take a third, some take a quarter, some say they take less. It's negotiable. Is that negotiable?
Well, it probably isn't necessarily from attorney to, I mean, with one attorney where you can sit and say, I'll only pay you 25, but sometimes it depends on the type of a case. There are attorneys, goes up, probably the range is between 25 and 40%. 33 is still probably kind of the most common. 40% can be involved in certain types of cases which are even more complicated and time-consuming sometimes.
Lifespan, you say, what does that mean, the lifespan
well,
of the
just
case?
kind of understand what's going to happen with a case, what's going to go on. You start with your attorney looking into it and getting enough information for them to file the complaint. This is what starts the lawsuit. You file that complaint, you have to serve notice to the defendant, and they have a certain time to respond to that, generally to deny that they're liable. And from that point forward, you start what we call the discovery process, and this is a big time-consuming and expensive part of the process. Discovery involves depositions, which is where all the attorneys interview the witnesses and the parties from the other side. And let me say that if you're being deposed on a given day, you're probably going to get a good night's sleep that night because you're going to be exhausted, you know, sitting there for a few hours answering these questions over and over. Sometimes it can be stressful. A lot of times it can also be very boring. You know, so that's that, and there's a lot of exchange of information and such. And one thing people might not understand these days is you have to disclose to the other side relevant information, even if it doesn't help your case.
Right.
So it's no longer the days of Perry Mason where you're, you know, bringing in a witness to surprise the other side. You know, you have to let each other know. They don't want this trial by ambush type thing.
Okay, thank you very much. There's a lot more involved than just what you see on TV and the quick little commercial, right?
Exactly,
okay.
yes.
Thank you, Craig. Up next.